Kevin McCarthy is the House Minority Leader, and he joins me now. I call you Speaker because we know what's coming down. So, Speaker, what has the Democratic Party done to itself and to the American people?
Well, the biggest pain they've done to the American people is they're charging them more money. You watch gas higher. And the real question for this election would be, can we afford them? Can we afford their policies that bring us inflation, that our food costs more, everything costs more? Can we afford their policy of defunding the police, making our streets not safe and our schools not safe? Can we afford their policy when it comes to the border? Now we have millions of people coming here illegally. We have people on the terrorist watch list coming into the country. But what's even worse, fentanyl is now the #1 killer of people between the ages of 18 and 45, and that's coming across our border from China. And can we afford their foreign policy that makes the world weaker, their energy policy that makes us more dependent? We've got to make a change, and that's why November cannot come soon enough.
So that's your line. Can we afford it? Is that what we're going to do? It's going to be about cost?
It is about cost. I don't know if you've been to the store, and I don't know if you've seen the latest studies. Because Joe Biden's in power, because the Democrats have one-party rule of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, it's going to cost every American family $6,000 more. You're going to wonder, can you pay your rent? Every time you go to the grocery store, it costs more. I paid $6.59 a gallon for gasoline this week. It's going across this country, and it's all based upon Democratic policy from day one when they went into office.
So it's going to be a kitchen table election, and that's probably smart. Are you going to get into the culture war kind of play?
Well, we should. I mean, are we going to allow men to compete against women? I mean, I think if someone's running for the Supreme Court, it's not a very difficult question is, do you understand or do you know the difference between a man and a woman? I think every person across America knows that answer.
Okay, so is Pelosi going to be front and center? Is Joe Biden going to be front and center? AOC? Who is the villain of the election?
They're not the villains. They're the leaders, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. This is Nancy Pelosi's Congress. This is Joe Biden's policy along with Nancy Pelosi. The #1 vote you make when you become a member of Congress is for Speaker. That dictates what's the process of moving forward. Nancy Pelosi has been running this. Their #1 thing they started out with was the overspending. We warned them about that would bring inflation. And it wasn't just the Republicans warning them. Democrats warned them. Larry Summers warned them. Former Treasury Secretary. If they do this, inflation will come. They ignored all and moved forward.
When you saw Joe Biden over there in Brussels today, what did you think of his leadership?
You know, I begin to question it because this is a real challenge. I remember him telling me personally in the American public that he thought sanctions would deter Putin from entering Ukraine. I told him I did not believe that would work. I believed that he had to do more to deter. And now he tries to change the topic. He wants to blame everything else for his failed policies, be it the border, be it the gas prices by denying us a pipeline but allowing Putin. And now he's saying the sanctions weren't there. But because of those actions, he entered another country. And think about what he's warned us just the other day. He goes and tells the American public, be prepared for Russia to hack the companies. Why would they even think to do that? Why wouldn't he take the approach and tell Putin, don't touch one? Because just last year, he warned Putin, said, these are 16 entities you can't go under, you can't go into by hacking. But he left everything else open. I want somebody who's strong, somebody who knows where their why is, somebody who understands what makes America strong and stand up for that.
Do you think the president's in charge, or do you think people are pulling strings?
Look, I talked to the president. I talked to him when he was sitting there about making these poor decisions about Afghanistan, and he told me those decisions he was making were his decisions that brought us 13 more Gold Star families we never needed to have. He told the American public that he would not leave till every single American was out, and then he pulled out 2 weeks later, leaving Americans behind. We have not seen anything like this in America since 1979 with Jimmy Carter in. And this is a real challenge.
But Speaker Pelosi said Joe Biden was perfect.
That is enough to understand why you want to change in this election. It only takes 5 seats. And look, not only Nancy Pelosi running again, Steny Hoyer and Clyburn. If you add up their age, no disrespect, but they're the same age as this country. I think we need to focus differently and move forward. We need to look at, I just took a number of members to MIT talking about AI and quantum. How do we make America stronger, but make us stronger to be able to compete against China? Make America stronger where our energy costs are lower, where we can manufacture here and don't have to worry about a supply chain and relying upon China. We should be relying upon American and American workers. And you do that, well, the very first thing that you do, make America energy independent and make us dominant in it, where we can help our allies at the same time.
I don't think Biden can even spell MIT, but I'm glad you're doing that. Leader McCarthy, thank you so much for joining Primetime.